Allahumma zid fazid. Who is Umar?
Allah.
Umar is somebody, before accepting Islam, he was caring for his community. He was very obedient to his elders. And because he used to listen to his elders talking about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a negative manner, and as an obedient son, child, or a carer of the community, he was concerned. And he took on a task to do something which majority of the people at that time were only talking about. I'm not going to narrate the whole waqia, I'm just giving you pointers of what he was and how that heart changed towards the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So initially, obviously, he came to do what he intended to do. When he heard Allah's kalam, the steadfastness of his sister, despite he was harsh to her and her husband, the firmness of his sister, that also melted his heart. Okay, despite what I've done, she's still strong and solid. And when he wanted to touch the Quran Majid, she said, no, you need to go have a ghusl first, you need to pure yourself, then you can touch and read. So obviously she was a sister of Hazrat Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu, so she knew who she was talking to and how he needs to be spoken to. And after reading the words, Taha and so on, his heart changed. And he went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was already sitting amongst the lions. And Hazrat Hamza radiyallahu anhu said that if his intention is good, he will find the best amongst us. And if his intention is not good, he will find his sword around his own himself. I'm very careful in picking up the words because Nachis don't think that it suits adab to what the actual event happened for my adab, that I don't think I'm worthy to speak in that manner. So I'm trying to talk in Ishari as well. I hope you understand that. So inshallah for next Durood Sharif, which is Qasidatul Burda, and I hope you will join.
Alhamdulillahi munshil halki min adami summa salatu ala al-muhtari fil qidami mawlaya salli wa sallim daiman abadan ala habibika khairil halki
Mawla
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم والجن تهتف والأنوار صافيات والحق يظهر من معنى ومن كلم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم آمين الله فالمستمسكون به مستمسكون بحبل غير منفصل مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم وكلهم بالرسول الله ملتمس غرفا من البحر أو رشفا من الديام مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم الصدق في الغار والصديق لم يرايا وهم يقولون ما بالغار من أرام مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا أكرم الخلق ما لمن ألوذ به سواك عند هلول الحادث الأمام مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا رسول الله how we yearn to meet you one day we wish to fall at your feet and breathe on us in that state مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم so beautiful were your moments with Siddiq in the cave he stood by you all his life and sleeps by you in your grave مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم look at Abu Bakr Umar Uthman and Mawla Ali we love them for they have spent their lives in your company مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم I mercy your prophet for the sake of your family the two princes of heaven and Fatima and Ali مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم when the son of Zahra and Haidari Karbala he sacrificed everything for the sake of his grandfather مولاي صل وسلم دائما
can I call Sufi from Dewsbury to come forward to read now, please? And before he comes to the mic, Umar al-Faruq is the result of the dua for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is the selection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Aka Kareem said either Umar al-Faruq or Abu Jahl, either, and he left the choice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the lions of all lions for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sallallahu alayhi विलज पाला लाज रख ले विलज पाला खाली ना उठा देना लज पाल नबी मेरे दरगादी रवा देना जद वक्त नज़ारे दामंदी हवा देना मैं कब्र अंधेरी में घबराऊंगा जब तन्हा इमदाद मेरी कर दो इमदाद मेरी कर दो आ जाना मेरे आका लजपाल नबी मेरे आसीदी तमन्नाए रवे आके मदीने बिच आवे तैबा देखो ते आदे पैरां च बिठा देना लजपाल दरदादी साइम दी तमन्नाए वेखे चेहरा ओ नूरी बस साइम दी तमन्नाए वेखे चेहरा ओ नूरी बस मैनू अपने इश्क दी मैं अखियां चो पिला देना मैनू अपने इश्क दी अखियां चो पिला देना लजपाल नबी दिल रोंदा है आका दिल रोंदा है आका दिल रोंदा है आका दिल रोंदा है आका दिल रोंदा है जांदे ने जद लोकी मदीने ओ दिल रोंदा है जांदे ने जद मुर्शिद मदीने नो हुन सानू भी आका दरबार दिखा देना लजपाल नबी दरदादी लजपाल नबी मेरे दरदादी
Subhanallah.
As you're aware that the topic is Hazrat Umar al-Faruq radiallahu anhu, and the change is because of the Muharram as well and their love with Ahl Bayt al-Athar. And just to understand the manliness and the courage of Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, because whilst I was reading the Shaykh, jadu jande ne loki Madine nu dil ronda hai. But when the Muslimin, they were migrating from Makkah to Mukarramah to Medina to Munawwara. And obviously they were doing that in the darkness, in the night time, so the Quraysh wouldn't apprehend them, or capture them, or torture them in any way. But Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, being himself a man of big stature, he gets ready, he goes to perform tawaf of Kaabatullah, and then he proclaims that I am going to Madinatul Munawwara. If anybody would wish to stop me, as his saying is that if they want the mothers to be left without their sons, children to be left without their father, wives to be left without their husbands, then they may do so. Meet me around the corner and then we'll talk then, so to speak. And I won't be surprised if he had said that as well in his manner, because he was a very courageous person. Because he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are we not on haqq? Are we not right? Aren't you the last prophet? And everything was yes. So he said, why are we huddled up in a house, in a hut? Why should we go and perform tawaf and do our namaz, salah in Makkah al-Mukarramah? So they performed 2 rows. Each row was led by the companions, and they, in a form of jalous. People say, why do you do jalous? That's why we do, because the sunnah of Hazrat Umar al-Faruq and the suggestion from him that we go and perform these jalous around Eid Milad al-Nabi especially. And they went up to Haram, proclaiming takbir and doing whatever they wanted to do around Kaabatullah, which is tawaf and salah. And this was all because of the courage of Umar al-Faruq. I mean, there are books. Rasulullah sallallahu at one point said to Jibreel that, "Mere Umar ki tareef sunao, mere Umar ki fazilat bayan karo." And they said, "Ya Rasulullah, I need the age of Prophet Nuh, which is near enough 1,000 years, to describe the status of Hazrat Umar al-Faruq." And yet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Abu Bakr ki beshumar nekiyon mein se Umar al-Faruq ek neki hai. So the status of Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu and Hazrat Umar al-Faruq is very clear in the eyes of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the love with elevated Athar, when once Rasulullah was walking with Hasnain Karimain on their blessed shoulders, and they were holding the Zulfa Mubarak of Rasulullah as the rein of a horse, and their feet were dangling, and they were, playing with their toes with the Zulfa Mubarak of Rasulullah. And Hazrat Umar al-Faruq said, "Oh Hasnain, oh Shahzadeo, isn't your ride so beautiful?" And the love towards Hasnain Karimain, Aka Karim said, "Oh Umar, don't you see the riders? Allah. They're the most beautiful ones." After the physical passing away of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr Siddiq, Umar al-Faruq was sitting on the minbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was about to give khutbah. Hasnain Karimain entered the masjid. Just pick yourself of young age. They see nobody else on the minbar apart from their blessed grandfather, and then they saw Abu Bakr Siddiq. So when they seen Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, the emotions took over, and they just, like I say, they marched through the crowd. And Hazrat Ali, being the father, has seen that, and they tried to stop him. And Hazrat Umar al-Faruq said, "Let him come through." And when they reached up to Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, and they said, "Get off my nana's minbar." a child. Just imagine, a child is telling Amir al-Mu'mineen of vast lands, a man who is, various riwayat say he's around 7 foot tall, muscular guy. You would just look at him and get scared. If Shaitan runs away, changes the road where Umar al-Faruq is walking, and a comes in, beautiful child comes and says, get off my nana's member. And what do? Before doing that, Mawla Ali said, Hasnain, don't. And Umar al-Faruq, out of love, said, Ali, leave it. Ye mera aur Hasnain ka mamla hai. Ye mera Hussain ka mamla hai. You stay out of it. And they abide by the hukum of Hussain radiallahu anhu. They came down and they said, go and sit on your own nana's member. मेरे नाना के मेंबर से उतरो और अपने नाना के मेंबर पे जाके बैठो. That brought tears to the eyes of Umar al-Faruq. And they said, I am a son of a person who used to take camels for pasturing, who would take camels and look after the sheep. I don't have a grandfather who's got a member. I am nothing in that sense. And Shahzade, they are the leaders of the Jannah, so they'll be giving tickets out to people to enter Jannah. And they've seen the love, and Hasnain Kareem said, is it? You don't have a grandfather who's got a member? No, I don't have a grandfather who's got a member. Okay, go and sit down on my grandfather's member. And when Umar al-Faruq sat on the member, they said, people, be witness. I am not sitting here of my own accord. Firstly, when I was sitting there, it was because of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Then Hussain came and took me off. And now he's placed me back on the member. Now there is nobody else alive to take me off from this member. So this just shows the love towards the family of Rasulullah. They named their blessed daughters on the names of the household of Rasulullah. Their own blessed daughter was married in the household, and they married the daughter of Mawla Ali Mushkil. So it just shows how closely they were with each other, how much love they had for each other. And Umar al-Faruq was such a ruler that at night time he would put a cloak around his face to hide so that people don't see. I'm surprised people still couldn't recognize a 7-foot person walking through the streets at night time. Because there wasn't no street lights then, you wouldn't tell who is walking and who is not. And he would pass the streets of Madinah al-Munawwara listening to the situations of people. And once he walked further out of Madinah al-Munawwara, and a Bedouin with his wife was entering to come and see him. The Bedouin's wife was expecting, but because it was so dark, he placed a tent outside Madinah al-Munawwara. And when Umar al-Faruq seen his, they told their ghulam, what a beautiful name of the ghulam as well, Aslam. When I read that, and my mind went straight to Qibla Alam. Okay, we have the names of the companions and their those who look after them. And when they walked up to the Bedouin, they said, why are you placed outside the Madinah al-Munawwara? They said, we were coming to look and speak to Umar al-Faruq, but because dark, we need to stay here. They said, what's that noise inside your tent? He said, nothing, none of your concern. He said, no, please tell me, what's that noise? It's as if somebody's in pain. They said, well, it's dark, and my wife's expecting. We were hoping to get within the city, but we couldn't. So that's why she is in labor now. So Umar al-Faruq turned back home. And he went up to his wife and he said, Sare jahan su behtareen ajr kamana hai. She said, at this time, yeah, why not? He goes, come with me then. And he goes, there's a friend of mine, a Bedouin, Umar al-Faruq don't know who he is. And he doesn't know this is Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, a friend of mine, his wife she's in labor. We need to go and deliver the baby. She goes, get this stuff. You need to get a few requirements. Let's go. What a wife she was as well. Not saying, what are we going to do? She just said, yeah, I want to earn the ajr. Let's do what we need to do. They went up, and Hazrat Umar al-Faruq is cooking. He's lit the fire, he's cooking whatever was required at that time. And the Bedouin is the person whose wife is in labor, he's just relaxed out. And he says, have you ever even cooked before? Do you know what you're doing? Go get me a glass of water. Do this for me. Not realizing that's Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's ordering around. And look at the love and concern to serve the Ummah, that he didn't say, okay, I'm Umar, who do you think you're talking to? He gets up and gets him water, he gets up and attends to any other need. At the same time, he's trying to cook as well. And when the baby was delivered, his wife said, oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen, congratulations, your friend had a baby boy. Can you imagine the state of the Bedouin when he heard from inside his tent, his wife saying, oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen, your friend had a baby boy. He ran the other direction. And Hazrat Umar al-Faruq said, where are you running? You have a baby boy. He goes, you are Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's shaken now because he's realized who he was talking to and who he was ordering around. He said, yeah, I am Umar. He was apologizing. He said, why did you not tell me that I'm Amir al-Mu'mineen? He said, that does not matter. For me, the matter was, kiske shahar mein aane lage the. And I did not want Rasulullah to ask me कि मेरे शहर में बंदा आ रहा था, उसको ज़रूरत थी और तुमने से पूछा नहीं. He was so concerned. This was Umar al-Faruq. And if it requires Angel Jibreel 950 plus years to describe his beauty, I don't think I can summarize anything in 15-20 minutes or so. But this was a man who was also very humble and very caring towards his wife. A very famous narration, you must all have heard that an individual who had enough of his missus, he goes, because he married somebody of, she was on a higher status than him. So she was always nagging him, telling you're poor, you're this, you're that. He said, I'm going to complain to Umar al-Faruq and I'm going to ask for suggestion. When he walked up to the household of Umar al-Faruq, he heard something different there. You can hear Umar al-Faruq's blessed wife telling him off. And he's there smiling and laughing. And she goes, why are you laughing? When Umar al-Faruq came out, he said, I could hear you, you're giggling and laughing. They said, why shouldn't I laugh? Why shouldn't I smile? When I'm not at home, she looks after my house. She protects my honor. She looks after my children. She gives me food. She said it. What difference? Why would I harm her or be harsh to her? These were the kind of qualities Umar al-Faruq had. A lot of things I am narrating are as a mafhum as well. They are not word by word. So it is so समझाना कि बात को समझाने के लिए कि ना सिर्फ रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अपनी अज़वाज के साथ बेहतरीन थे, बल्कि उनके असहाबे कराम भी अपनी अज़वाज के साथ बेहतरीन थे. They were very concerning, very caring towards the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are various riwayat, waqiyat, an individual can go on, but I will finish on this, that when Umar al-Faruq passed away, and when the people were standing around their bed, one of the companions stated that somebody rested their elbows on my shoulder and said, "Oh Umar, may Allah bestow His mercy upon you. I always hope that Allah will keep you with your two companions. For I often heard Allah's Messenger say, I, Abu Bakr and Umar were somewhere. I, Abu Bakr and Umar were doing something. So whenever they heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talk, they always talked about Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar al-Faruq together. So I hope that Allah will keep you with both of them." And the companion says, when I turned around and looked at the speaker, it was Mawla Ali Mushkil Kusha. This was the love of the Ahl Bayt and the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do not take heed of people when they try to differentiate and try to create a wedge between the companions and Ahl Bayt al-Thar, because there isn't any wedge. The wedge is within their own hearts. Because Jere Aka Kareem al San Lageve, I don't think anybody else need any more explanation. Wama tawfiqa illa billah. For the last night, Sayyidul Qadir Shah Sahib, if you could come to the mic. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah wa sallam alayka ya Habiballah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah.
بچپن سے ہی سرکار کے ٹکڑوں پہ پناہ ہوں، کہ بچپن سے ہی سرکار کے ٹکڑوں پہ پناہ ہوں، ارے میں تو سرکار مدینہ کے گداؤں کا گدا ہوں، پر صلی اللہ علیہ رسول چمکے تجھ سے پاتے ہیں سب پانے والے، چمک تجھ سے پاتے ہیں سب پانے والے، میرا دل بھی چمکا دے چمکانے والے، کچھ بھی نہیں میرا میرے گھر میں آقا سب تیرا ہے کچھ بھی نہیں میرا میرے گھر میں آقا سب تیرا ہے دروازے پہ لکھا ہے تیرا اسم گرامی دروازے پہ لکھا ہے تیرا اسم گرامی اور آتا نہیں بھولے سے اندھیرا میرے گھر میں آقا سب تیرا ہے کچھ بھی نہیں میرا میرے گھر میں
Alhamdulillah, while reading the various waqiyat of Umar al-Faruq radhiyallahu anhu and his household, with each waqiyah nacheez, my mind would go back to my Murshid al-Kareem. Whether it's the love for Ahl Bayt Athar, as you can see, whether it's the concern for the Ummah, the youth of the Ummah, the sons of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether the household of Umar al-Faruq serving people. Nacheez very clearly remembers, before I pass it on to Salah Sahab, that in the early days when Nacheez was honored to be present in her Sahab's court after reading Fajr Namaz, the household would get up to make a cup of tea for those who would turn up. As much as I was fortunate, obviously I was naive, not understanding, but now thinking back, I can't get those moments back. I yearn for them. But the muhabbat the household showed a no one like me, a dirt of the street, 10, 11 years ago, has not changed, not one bit. And each one of you and your families can vouch for that. Whether you're traveling for Hajj, Umrah, or within the city, within the country, the household of Hazrat Sahab and themselves, they are serving the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And had this not been the case, many of us would have been astray again. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us in the adab. And with the Bharpur Nara, I would like you to have Salah Sahab on the stage, because we haven't seen him for a few weeks. Well, I haven't, definitely. So, Nara Takbir, Nara Risala, Nara Tahaqeeq, Nara Haidari, Haidari, Himari Aliya Shadpur Sharif, Astana Aliya Sajjan Sharif, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Jiwa Jiwa, Sohna Jiwa, Oh Allah, 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 Oh Allah,
Jazakallah khair. All I wanted to do was request a few dawahs from the Shaykh. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Wal-ali was-sahbi summa at-tabi'ina lahum ahli at-tuqa wal-nuqa wal-hilmi wal-karam. Ya Rabbi salli wa sallim da'iman abada ala habibika khayril khalqi kullihim. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah Kareem, once again we are in this gathering of Salawatun Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Today's gathering is in the honor of the first Amir of the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyiduna wa Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Allah allow us to follow by their example. Allah allow us to stand on the deen which they struggled so much for and worked so hard for. There was a man whose name was Umar ibn al-Khattab. That man, when he heard the message of Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he became so irate and edgy and angry that in a riwayah it says he had intentions to harm and even to try. In his previous thinking, radiyallahu anhu, to kill the Prophet of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him. However, Sufi has narrated the waqia in short of how Sayyidina Umar went from being the son of Khattab to becoming al-Faruq. When he entered the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then he was bestowed with the laqab, with the title of the Redeemer. Al-Faruq means to redeem. And what does that mean? To right wrongs. He was a man of adl, he was a man of justice. We hear from the Shaykh that once in the Haram there was an earthquake, the land began to move and shake. Amir al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu ta'ala an, with his staff, he smashed it on the floor. He hit his staff on the floor and he says, "O earth, has Umar not done justice upon you? Calm yourself, for I have done other." Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an, such a man, that when at first he was a man who opposed and stood against Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then he came into the deen. As much as he opposed the deen, he then began to go out there and give dawah for the deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now his stature, he was a big man. He was a man who was loud. He was a man who was very powerful in every sense of the word. Such was his himmat and badri that when he read the kalima on the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he went to the house of Abu Jahl. He knocked on the door of Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl answered the door and he sees Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an stood before him. He says, "Oh Abu Jahl, I just want to tell you that I have accepted the deen of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam." Now Abu Jahl thinking, well, what am I to do with Umar? I can't hit him because he's bigger than me. I can't fight with him because he's stronger than me. So Abu Jahl simply said, "May Allah's wrath be upon you." Because he's a disbeliever, because it was the time of Jahiliyyah, he had nothing more to say than may Allah's wrath be upon you. But that asal hakikatan, the wrath of Allah was and will always be on Abu Jahl. So this was Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an, in the final moments in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when Allah's Rasul left this world, and the Sahaba Ikram became halum behal, they lost their senses. Some made dua that, Ya Allah, your Mahmood is no longer here. Your Habib is no longer here. I cannot feast and do the ziyarah of his Chehra-e Anwar. Allah, remove my sight, because that is the last memory I want to have in my mind. That is the last vision I want to have in my mind and in my heart. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Allah accepted the dua of this companion. In this same way, in this hal and in this kafiyat, the same Umar before the deen, who removed his sword and said, I am going to do so and so to Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was the same Umar. I'm talking about the love of Sayyiduna Umar. I'm talking about the passion, the vigor, the muhabbat of Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu ta'ala an. When Aka left this world, that same Umar, not the son of Khattab, but Umar al-Faruq radiallahu ta'ala an, he says he removed his sword, and he says, if anybody says Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam has left this world, then I will remove their head from their shoulders. But it took Ashiq Akbar, Yare Ghar, Yare Mizar, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an, to come forth to settle the Sahaba Ikram, to narrate to them from Kitabullah, from the Book of Allah Kareem, to narrate to them from the narrations of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, bring them to their senses, to say that today Allah's Rasul has departed from this world, and it is our duty to remain steadfast and strong on the deen. My point is not to say that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, in any sense of the word, was ma'azallah lost or confused, but rather his muhabbat was so deep that he could not contend with the fact that Rasulullah had left this world. And to finish with, Aka Kareem, peace and blessings be upon him, when he was alive in and amongst the companions, he says that I am the final Nabi, I am the final Prophet of Allah. But if there was to be a prophet after me, if there was to be a prophet after me, then it would be my friend, my companion, Umar. Radiyallahu ta'ala an. I pray for the sadaqah of our Khajagan, of our Murshid, and of our Nisbat. Allah gives us tawfiq to rectify our Zahir, to rectify our Batin, and keep us strong on the deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the deen of his Sahaba Ikram, and all of the pious predecessors. For the final du'as and announcements, Naya Stoke-on-Trent presents Miladun Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sunday 6th October 2019, under the guidance, under the supervision, under the presidency of our Huzur Khadai Khajagan, Qibla Hazrat Sar. The Julus will begin at 12:30 p.m. Medina Islamic Center, Bedford Road. The main event will begin at 1 p.m. at the new Masjid, Regent Street, after reading Zohar at 2 p.m. and did you say 11 p.m.? And inshallah, langar will be served in the morning for all brothers and sisters traveling. So if you would like langar, then be there for 11 a.m. in the morning. As always, every year, alhamdulillah, the Stoke Toast, as every Sangi and Halqa, is very hospitable. Anyhow, if you be there for 11 o'clock, langar will be served. You can do fresh wuzu and so forth, and then inshallah move on to perform the Julus. So, Mohtaram Subirafi Sahib is here today. A warm welcome from them and all of the Sahiban from the Stoke Halqa to all brothers and sisters. The Ronak, my brothers, is with the Halqa. The Ronak is with the Sangi. So please make time to attend this gathering of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Love of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an. an urs by Yad Hazur Khaja Khajagan, Khaja Sufi Muhammad Aslam Sahab, Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi. Okay, so Sufi Sahab saying that this gathering is also for the sisters, for the ladies, just in case I forgot to mention it. But it's a ladies event, men's and ladies event, of course in separate halls, in separate places. But inshallah, if you can make your ladies aware, and the messages will be circulated within these coming days and weeks, inshallah al-Aziz. Fatiha dua for our good brother Sufi Nadeem Hanif Sahab. His father passed away earlier this week. Allah grant them the highest maqams in Jannat and allow Sufi Sahab to keep doing the great work which he is doing for the deen. Also dua for our good brother Sufi Gohir Sahab from Glasgow. His mother passed away earlier this week. Dua request for a 12-year-old boy who has passed away via a asthma attack. Last night when Najiz was going and the Sangi, Sahil Sahab and others were going to the airport, and our driver was driving quite recklessly. He was weaving in and out of the traffic. I was like, Ya Allah, only you can protect us and get us to our destination, because the way this guy is driving, my fear is that we're not going to make it, because he just let go of steering. And there were massive potholes in the road. All the car needs to do is hit a pothole and it's going to veer straight off. Anyhow, so as we got near the airport, there was a massive tailback. We got to the front and there were two youngsters who were in an accident, I think, maybe, I don't know, because it was a long queue. But two youngsters were flat out on the road and they had perished there. Only moments before, maybe 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before, the Sangi Agawar witness to this, many young boys, young men on motorbikes were just flying by on their motorbikes, weaving in and out of the traffic. 10 minutes later, not that they would assume, as we would assume or think, that two of them are dead on this road. And then the driver began to recite La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and it dawned upon him that maybe I shouldn't be as reckless as I am. And from there, the few miles that we had to the airport, he began to drive as a sensible driver should drive. But it also dawned upon me that are we not living life in the fast lane as them two young Muslim brothers were? And it takes for us to see something like this to come back to our senses. Qibla Hazrat Sahab always says to us, my sons, make the most of this life which Allah has given to us. Make the most of this Jawani, this youth which Allah has given to us, because we don't know what's around the corner. Alhamdulillah, by the tawfiq of Allah, we've got such nisbat, we've got the tariqah of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We need to grab it with both hands and try our best and try more. And finally, I don't know if it was mentioned last week, but just as Hosla Arzai, dua for our good brothers Sufi Kaisar Sahab and Sufi Yunus Sahab, who are tirelessly and continuously, while nobody knows and nobody sees, working on renovating this house of Allah. So last week or the week before, they've skimmed and plastered parts of the masjid upstairs. They did this last year. And now they're working upstairs, and inshallah, bit by bit, slowly but surely, they're working on all of the masjid to make it more presentable. If we make Allah's house presentable, we clean Allah's house, then inshallah, through His mercy, He'll clean our hearts through the du'as of our Shaykh. I pray Allah gives me the tawfiq of amal and of practice. First and foremost, we request Qibla Hazur to make final dua.
ठीक है जी, इब्तिदा से इंतहा तक جتنا تیرا پاک ذکر کیا گیا، تلاوت کلام اللہ، مختلف شکل میں درود و سلام عرض کیا گیا، قصیدہ پردہ شریف پڑھا گیا، نعت رسول محبوب نظم و نثر میں پڑھی گئی، اور پیارے آقا کے پیارے محبوب دوست امیر المومنین سیدنا فاروق اعظم رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کے مناقب سنائے گئے، اور اہل بیت رسول کے جو مناقب سنائے گئے ہیں۔ مولا ابتدا سے انتہا تک اتنا جو کچھ پیش کیا گیا، نیاز محبت پیار جو دکھایا گیا، دلائل الخیرات شریف جس کو بیس جو پڑھی گئی، میرے مالک یہ ساری کی سارا وہ اپنی پاک بارگاہ میں اپنے محبوب کی رحمت کا صدقہ قبول فرما۔ سب سے پہلے حبیب پاک صاحب الولاء رحمت عالم نور مجسم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی نور بری بارگاہ میں یہ محبت اور پیار کا تحفہ ادا کریم پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ آقا علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کے توفیل جمیع انبیاء، شہداء، صالحین سرکار کے پاکیزہ نوری والدین کی بارگاہ میں محبت اور تحفہ یہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ پانچ تن پاک کی خصوصی بارگاہ میں ہدیہ محبت خصوصی طور پہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ حضور کی تمام ازواج محترات، پیارے آقا کے تمام صحابہ پاک، بالخصوص چار یار مصطفیٰ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ حضور کی تمام اہل بیت رسول کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ بالخصوص مولا کریم امت المومنین امت سیدہ خطیبہ الکبریٰ رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ، امت المومنین امت سیدہ عائشہ صدیقہ عتیقہ رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کے مقدس مطہر بارگاہ میں کہ محبت والا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، اللہ قبول فرما۔ سید و شہداء کی بارگاہ میں پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ افضل البشر بعد الانبیاء سیدنا ابو بکر صدیق عتیق رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کی مقدس بارگاہ میں یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، اللہ کریم قبول فرما۔ جملہ تمام صحابہ رسول کی بارگاہ میں یہ پیار کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، اللہ قبول فرما۔ تمام سلاسل اولیاء کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ بالخصوص محبوب سبحانی غوث سردانی پیران پیر دستگیر حضور غوث اعظم رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کی مقدس بارگاہ میں یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ شہنشاہ اولیاء شہنشاہ نقشبند سید محمد بہاءالدین رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کی بارگاہ میں یہ محبت اور پیار کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ شیخ شہاب الدین سروردی حضور تعالی حجویری خواجہ غریب نواز کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ امام ایروانی محبوب سبحانی قیوم زمانی شیخ احمد مجدد الفسانی کی بارگاہ میں یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، اللہ رب العزت قبول فرما۔ خواجگان چودہ شریف، خواجگان عیدگاہ شریف، خواجگان مغری شریف کی بارگاہ میں یہ محبت کا تحفہ اللہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ بالخصوص اللہ یہ سارے کا سارا تحفہ مالک و مولا میرے والی نعمت میرے حضور قبلہ عالم قطب عالم ہادی برحق سخی سلطان امام العاشقین امام الواصلین خواجہ خواجگان سخی سلطان والی شاد کو شریف رحمت اللہ علیہ ورضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ کی بارگاہ میں یہ محبت بھرا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ اللہ آپ کے درجات کو مزید بلند و بالا فرما، آپ کے خیش و کربا آپ کے گھر بار کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ مولا خصوصاً بالخصوص اس نور بری مجلس میں دور و نزدیک سے جتنے دوست و احباب، جتنی مائیں بہنیں بیٹیاں آئی ہیں، ہم سب کے خاندانوں کے جتنے چھوٹے بڑے ایمان کی حالت میں تیرے حضور پہنچے ہیں، یا اللہ سب کو یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ بالخصوص حضرت خواجہ ندیم حنیف صاحب کے والد گرامی کی پاکیزہ روح کو یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ اور عزیز صوفی گوہر صاحب کی والدہ گرامی کی پاکیزہ روح کو پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ اور چھوٹے اس عزیز کے بارے میں جن کہا گیا اللہ اس کی پاکیزہ روح کو یہ محبت کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں، قبول فرما۔ اور ساتھیوں کے دوستوں کے خاندانوں میں سے جتنے چھوٹے بڑے ایمان کی حالت میں اللہ تیرے حضور پہنچے ہیں، سب کو یہ پیار کا تحفہ پیش کرتے ہیں قبول فرما مولا سب کی بخشش و مغفرت فرما سب کے درجات کو بلند فرما سب کی قبروں کو روشن مجلہ اور منور فرما حد نگاہ تمام کی قبول کو کشادہ فرما اور اس نور بری محفل درود و سلام کے صدقے سب کے گناہوں کو معاف فرما درجات کو بلند فرما قبروں کو بقائے نور بنا جنت کی کیاریوں میں سے ایک کیاری بنا اور پیارے آقا علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی ان سب کو اور ہم سب کو رسول اللہ کی شفاعت کبریٰ نصیب فرما مالک و مولا اس کی برکت کے ساتھ سب کی مشکلات کو آسان فرما ظاہری باطن جو بیمار ہیں شفا عطا فرما آقا علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی امت کے حال پر خصوصی رحم فرما یا اللہ سید و شہزاد راقب دوش مصطفیٰ امام الاولیاء امام علی مقام امام حسین رضی اللہ تعالی عنہ کی مقدس پاکیزہ قربانی کا صدقہ یا رب العزت جو کچھ پڑھا پڑھایا گیا جو کچھ سنا سنایا گیا خصوصی طور پہ آپ کی بارگاہ میں یہ پیار پیش کرتے ہیں قبول فرما آپ کے صدقے اور وسیلے سے امت مصطفیٰ کو جو آج پریشانیاں درکار ہیں جن مصیبتوں میں امت مصطفیٰ گھیری ہوئی ہے یا اللہ ان کی مقدس قربانی کا تصدق امت مصطفیٰ کے ہاتھ پہ رحم فرما اللہ انہیں آزادی کی نعمت سے ہم کے لائق فرما مولا حضور کی امت کی اصلاح فرما اللہ حضور کی امت کو آپس میں اتفاق و محبت نصیب فرما اللہ حضور کی امت کی اصلاح فرما اے مولا کریم کشمیر کے مظلوم مسلمانوں کے حال پہ خصوصی رحم فرما برما شام یمن فلسطین عراق افغان چچن جہاں جہاں مسلمان پریشان حال ہیں اللہ امام پاک کی مقدس قربانی کا صدقہ اور وسیلہ آپ کے گھر باہر کا صدقہ اور وسیلہ میرے مولا ان عظمت اور عصمت والی ان شفاق شہزادیوں کا صدقہ بالخصوص سیدہ زینب رضی اللہ تعالی عنہا کی اس مقدس قربانی کا وسیلہ یا اللہ ہماری بیٹیوں کو شرم و حیا عطا فرما یا اللہ انہیں شرم و حیا کی نعمت سے مالا مال فرما ہماری بیٹیوں کو سیدہ زینب کے اس مقدس فیضان سے مالا مال فرما اور ان کے مبارک مسئولین پہ ان کے زندگی کے ذریع اصولوں پہ اللہ ہماری ماؤں بہنوں اور بیٹیوں کو بھی زندگی گزارنے کی توفیق عطا فرما جو انہوں نے تکلیف برداشت کی یا اللہ جو آزمائش اور امتحان سے گزرے ہیں اللہ ہماری بیٹیوں کو ایسے امتحانوں سے محفوظ فرما اس عظمت والی شہزادی کا صدقہ ہماری بیٹیوں کو دین کا رسول کی محبت کا آقا کی اولاد کا پیار نصیب فرما اور ان کے نسل و لین پہ چل کر ہمیں اپنی دنیا اور آخرت کو سنوارنے کی توفیق عطا فرما یہ درود و سلام کی نور بری محفل اللہ ہمیں ہمیشہ سجائے رکھنے کی توفیق عطا فرما جب تک زندگی کے یہ سانس چل رہے ہیں ہمیں خود بھی اس پہ ثابت قدم رکھ اور جو ہمارے بھائی بہن جو بیٹیاں دوست و احباب اس محبت سے دور ہیں آقا کے پیار کی اس محفل سے دور ہیں اللہ ہمیں صدق کے دل سے انہیں بھی اس طرح بلانے کی اور دعوت دینے کی توفیق عطا فرما اور انہیں بھی اس پاکیزہ پروگرام میں شرکت کرنے کی دعوت دینے کی توفیق دے تاکہ کل یوم محشر میں جب حضور کے سامنے ہم پیش ہوں تو یا اللہ ہمیں شرمندگی سے محفوظ فرما سرکار صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم یہ نہ کہیں یا میرے غلام خود تو مجھ پہ درود و سلام تو پڑھتا تھا مگر میری امت کی بے شمار بیٹے اور بیٹیاں اس نعمت سے محروم تھے تو انہیں اس طرح بلاتا تو ہمیں اور زیادہ خوشی نصیب ہوتی اللہ تعالیٰ مجھے اور آپ سب کو اس اخلاص اور محبت کے ساتھ اس مبارک کام میں آدم میں واپسی اللہ ہمیں ثابت قدم رکھ اور دوسروں کو اس طرح بلانے کی توفیق عطا فرما آپس میں ہمیں یکجہتی اور اتفاق عطا فرما آپس میں ہمیں شیر و شکر فرما مولا جو بیمار ہے شفا عطا فرما جو قرض دار ہے رہائی عطا فرما جو تنگ دست ہے رزق فراغ و حلال عطا فرما اللہ جو بے ذکر ہے انہیں ذکر کی توفیق عطا فرما اللہ جو بے اولاد ہے آقا کے اس محبوب شہزادے کی طفیل صدقے سے حسنین کریمین کی اس عظمت و شان کے صدقے سے یا اللہ اما زہرا کے طہارت و تقوی کا صدقہ یا اللہ امام زین العابدین کی زاری کا صدقہ غوث اعظم کی پارسائی کا صدقہ والی شاہ پور شریف کی عصمت اور وسیلہ یا اللہ جتنے آئے بیٹھے ہیں سب کی جھولیوں کو اپنے کرم سے مالا مال کر میرے اللہ حضور کی اولاد سرکار کے شہزادے اس مبارک مجلس میں شریک ہیں، مولا ہمیں نہ دے حضور کے اس مبارک خون کو دیکھتے ہوئے ہماری ان ٹوٹی پھوٹی دعاؤں کو اپنی بارگاہ میں شرف قبولیت عطا فرمائے۔ جب تک زندہ ہے اسی کام میں ہمیں لگائے رکھ اور اسی کام میں ہمارا خاتمہ بالخیر فرمائے۔ وصلی اللہ تعالی علی حبیبہ محمد وعلی آلہ وصحبہ وازواجہ اجمعین۔